Lindsay Vallandigham with the Symphony Group at Keller Williams Louisville East. Today we're going to talk about new construction. It's a huge question that a lot of buyers have. It's kind of a big unknown, and I get that. Before I was a real estate agent, I didn't understand how it worked at all. There are sort of three different paths when it comes to building your new home. The first of those paths is what we would consider custom build. So with a custom build, you as the new buyer would identify a builder that you want to work with. There are independent builders everywhere. A real estate agent would probably have good connections if you don't know an independent builder already. But you would essentially work with that builder to design the home that you're looking for. It really gives you full customization options. Now, when it comes to a custom home, more than likely you're going to need to find the land where you're going to build that home. Land in different areas has different restrictions, so you'll need to work with the city and county where you are purchasing that land to make sure that you can build the home that you want to build. Again, a real estate agent can help you navigate that path a little bit. So you would identify the land, the property where you're going to build. You're going to identify a builder that you want to work with to help you draw up the plans for your home. Financing custom homes is a little different too. The builder may not have the resources to start your project, and you would need to work with a mortgage lender to have a new construction loan. With a new construction loan, you're going to be approved for the total purchase price of the build, and the builder's going to help you identify what that total purchase price looks like. But you get your approval for that full purchase price, and then you're going to work with your builder to make draws throughout the construction period. So you might have an initial down payment, you might have a draw that pays for your foundation, you might have a draw that pays for when the studs go up, when the roof goes on, things like that. So you're going to work with the builder and with the lender to have a draw period over the time of the construction being built. That way your builder isn't fronting any of that money, you are providing that in advance. And then at the end, when the project is done, you finance it into a mortgage. Building a custom home allows you the most personalization. Obviously, you get to work, within the confines of the land that you've chosen and what will work there and what is allowed by the county. But essentially, you have full control over the exterior look of your home, the layout, the interior of your home, all of the choices inside, what the flooring is, what kind of cabinetry is used, the paint colors. You can kind of get in the weeds a little bit because there are so many choices to be made. Things that aren't interesting, things that aren't fun, but choices that still have to be made, right? So be prepared if you decide to go with a custom home for the decision-making process that might take place over the course of the year that it may take to build that home from the ground up. And of course, that does start with identifying that land. On occasion, you might identify a builder who already owns some land. Say if there's a subdivision that only has a few lots left, a builder might purchase those himself. Sometimes if you're not finding the land that you want, you might start looking at what's available from different builders. If you drive through a subdivision and you think, gosh, I really want that parcel, then work with your real estate agent to figure out who owns that, is it for sale, that sort of thing. The other end of the spectrum is what we call spec home. So a spec home is a home that has been fully built by the builder. The builder owns the land, the builder completes the home. It may be completely fully finished. It is brand new. No one has ever lived there before. It is still considered new construction. The decisions about what the house looks like have already been made by the builder. Depending on what point you as the buyer step into that spec home, there may be no decisions for you left to make. You may just get a completed product as it is. There may be small decisions, like you might be able to choose paint colors if you come in sort of toward the end of that building process. Maybe you would get to choose one kind of carpet over another, or light fixtures or something like that. Sometimes you can catch them right before they're finished and get to make a few decisions. Essentially, a spec home has been built and is entirely decided upon by the builder. Even when it comes to making those final decisions, let's say you find a home and it's 2 months from being finished, so it's nearly complete. The builder still may not allow you to make wildly personalized decisions, because if for some reason, you were to back out or lose your financing or something, that builder still has to sell that house. While you may love royal purple walls in every room, the builder may decide that that's not the route he's going to let you go. He's going to paint it a neutral color, and then you can come in and paint royal purple after you buy it. So you'll have maybe some decision-making capability, as long as it is within the realm of the builder's budget and the neutrality that the builder's looking for sort of mass appeal. With a spec home, typically they are finished enough that you can just apply for a regular mortgage. A lot of spec homes are listed in the MLS. If you're flipping through Zillow or flipping through an IDX, real estate website with pictures, you might see homes that are new construction, and a lot of those are spec homes. They look nearly complete. The pictures would be updated from time to time as they work toward completion on those properties, and they can be done with a regular transaction, a regular contract, or a standard situation, and maybe in various stages of nearly complete. So you might find one that is fully move-in ready. You can close as soon as your lender can close and you can move right in. There may be some scenarios where they have listed them as a spec home, but they're still 60 to 90 days from being finished. Again, in that circumstance, you can still apply for a standard loan and go through that underwriting process while they're finishing your home. The middle ground here is this idea of some customization, and you see this most often with sort of the mass builders. Every major market in the US has big industry builders that are building like subdivisions throughout the neighborhood. There are national companies, there are regional companies, there are local companies. The idea is that a builder with deep pockets buys an entire parcel of land, several acres. Maybe they buy 50 acres and they subdivide that parcel into individual parcels of land, and they start building homes on those individual parcels. That's why we call it a subdivision. Those types of builders are going to build some spec homes. They're going to have an inventory of spec homes that they complete and just sell on the market. But many of them will also allow you, the buyer, to make some choices. So they may have certain lots that they have certain models that fit on that lot. If you like a certain lot, they may show you 3 or 4 different models that they could build on that lot based on the topography of the land itself. And then once you choose which model, you might be able to choose between 2 or 3 different facades of that home. We're going to buy home A, or they have fancy names like the Canterbury or the Asbury or something like that. But you choose that home because it fits on that lot, and then you might have 2 different front-facing facades that you could choose from that are, essentially the same but maybe a little more interesting or different than the other. And then you're going to be able to make some choices on the inside. That builder is going to give you a budget to make decisions on things like what cabinetry you want to use, what flooring you want to use, what light fixtures, what paint colors, where you have the internet built into the wall, whether you have a ceiling fan or a regular light fixture. You're going to get to make some decisions, but you're not going to be making decisions about the layout of the home. You're not going to be making decisions about what the front of the home actually looks like, other than maybe, this elevation or this elevation. You might get to choose what type of brick, for example, or what type of siding, maybe the color of the shingles on the roof, but probably not the type of shingles on the roof. They have a budget and they're working with a roofer. So you get to make a lot of decisions along the way, but certainly not as many as it would be for a custom home. Now, the way financing works these days with these types of homes is that you would apply for a standard mortgage. The builder is going to probably ask you to be pre-qualified through their partner loan officer, just because that's the person they've placed their trust in to make sure that you are qualified to build the home. The home itself probably would be finished in 8 to 10 months, and they want to make sure before they start building your customized home that you are truly qualified. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to work with that builder's lender. You just need to go through that qualification process with them so that they can check all their boxes, and then you can elect to work with that builder if they're offering you the best product, or you can elect to work with your own lender. Again, that process takes about 8 to 10 months, so there are steps along the way that you can kind of be a part of, but essentially, again, it's this big corporate builder that is building this home. They've got their crews, they've got their timelines. You're sort of waiting in the wings and answering their questions along the way. You do make those decisions that you get to make, the decisions about the kinds of cabinetry and the kinds of flooring and what color the siding is. They don't wait until the very end. They have those decisions very early so that they can go ahead and order that product, so that the house isn't 6 months in and ready for cabinetry, but the cabinetry is on back order. So they make you make those decisions very early in the process so that everything can be ordered, everything can arrive, and they can complete the home in a timely fashion. The inspection process for new construction is a little more thorough than it might be for an existing home. Depending on when you enter the process, if you enter the process before construction is started, then you will be able to have inspections throughout the time that the home is being built. Most builders will allow you, the buyer, to visit the home during the work day anytime that you want to. You can see what they're doing. You can see the foundation go in. Many builders will request that if you're going to go, you don't You don't talk to the guys that are working there because they have a plan and they have their blueprints that they're working from, and aren't authorized to make changes. So you always have to make sure that you talk to the supervisor who's managing the construction if you need changes made based on what you see at the inspection. But yeah, you can be a part of the process as they go along. Typically we will do an inspection before the drywall goes up. That's an opportunity for you as a buyer to see where all the electric wires are, where the plumbing runs, and to really get an idea of what your home looks like in the guts, and I recommend at that step that you kind of take pictures, because maybe 6 years from now you want to make a change in your home and you can't quite remember where that plumbing line is or where that duct work is. And so taking pictures of your pre-drywall walkthrough, maybe put them in a photo album or something where you've got those to go back and reference to if you need to along the line. I know I certainly wish I knew where everything was behind the drywall in my house. It would make decisions about where to hang that picture with a nail like this a little easier, so you're not nailing right into your HVAC ductwork, am I right? So yeah, you have a pre-drywall walkthrough inspection. Then they'll get the drywall up, they'll get everything painted, they'll get cabinetry installed, and then you're going to have what's called a punch list walkthrough. A punch list walkthrough is basically your opportunity as a buyer to walk through the property and make sure that it fits what you think it's supposed to, that everything looks great. A new home should look perfect when you buy it, and so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for dings, marks, things that are broken. The construction process is a construction process and things happen along the way. So maybe there's a hole in the wall from them carrying in something heavy, a chip in the countertop, or any number of things. That's your opportunity to sort of have your eyes and hands on everything in the house and make sure that it is just right. We'll use like painter's tape and just mark everything that needs attention. There can be hundreds of things, trust me. The marks on the walls from paint is, a massive thing anyway, just because moving trim, they're hanging light fixtures, scuffs happen. So we mark all of these places where we need attention. And like I said, we do that a few weeks out so that we have time to get all those things fixed. If there's a cabinet door on a cabinet that's broken, or a light fixture where one globe is cracked or something like that, we need to make sure that those things are addressed prior to closing. I would recommend that you take your realtor on your punch list walkthrough, because that is someone who has seen a lot of these probably and knows what to look for. Just because it's so exciting for you as the buyer to be in a home that you're going to own that's almost finished, and might be overwhelmed and might have an opportunity to miss a few things. So you want to take somebody with you who is going to have your best interests in mind as you're walking through that property and identifying those final corrections that need to be made. If you identify a home that's 60 or 90 days from being finished, you would still do that punch list walkthrough to make sure it looks pristine prior to your closing. After your punch list walkthrough, you are going to get a final walkthrough of the property. That's going to happen in the days or hours before closing. Your final walkthrough is to make sure that all of those punch list items were addressed. The builder or the builder's supervisor would have made a list of every single item that we mark on that punch list, and you're going to go through and check every single one and initial off on those to make sure that they have in fact been corrected. A lot of folks ask if you should do a traditional home inspection on new construction. And the answer to that is, it's really up to you. A third-party home inspection is simply that. It is a third party's opinion and eyes on a property. For me personally, I'm not a builder. I don't always know exactly what to look for to see if something is done correctly or not. I couldn't tell you if the furnace is ducted correctly or if the wiring is done in the panel correctly. That's not my level of expertise, but that's what a home inspector can do. They can look at the electrical panel and see that it has been done correctly. Now, of course, with new construction, you will have inspections from the county. The county will sign off on your HVAC, on your plumbing, on your electrical. They're going to sign off on all of that. But if you decide you want just that extra security of having a home inspector come and inspect the property, then you would just wait until you have completed that punch list walkthrough, and then you could have an independent home inspector come in. Independent home inspections cost anywhere from probably $500 to $700, and you can decide if you want to do that or not. New construction does come with a 1-year warranty in most places, and that warranty is sort of the equivalent of a car's bumper-to-bumper warranty. It's a warranty on everything with the house. And what many builders will ask you to do is to simply keep a list. We recommend taking a taking a piece of notebook paper and taping it inside your kitchen cabinet, and just write down any item that you see that needs to be addressed within that first year. Because the builder then can come back at the end of the year and address this entire list of items all at once. Now, of course, if you have something catastrophic that happens within that first year, you want to notify the builder right away. But little things like chips in the paint or nail pops or something that, the trim that might not line up just right, or a door that doesn't open and close just right, little things like that, the builder can come back and address all of those items at once. So you would want to just keep yourself a little checklist somewhere safe where you know where it is, where you can update it when you identify something. New construction is brand new, and it does settle, it does shift, little things change. You get chips in the paint, scuff marks, all that kind of stuff, and all of that can be addressed when the builder does their 1 year review of the property. Now, if that warranty is the bumper to bumper warranty, you want to look for and make sure that your new construction also has sort of the car equivalent of the powertrain warranty. You want a structural warranty. You want insurance policy that says that this house isn't going to sink into the ground. And so a lot of new builders will offer a structural warranty that lasts much longer than that 1 year home warranty, maybe 5, 10, 15 years on a structural warranty. So that's also something that you would want to know ahead of time. Does your new construction come with the 1 year builder's warranty and that longer term structural warranty? Last but not least here, I want to bring attention to how a real estate agent works with new construction. Many builders will identify a real estate agent to work on their behalf. So many builders are working with real estate agents to list their properties, to help them find buyers, and to represent them throughout the transaction. And so because that builder is more than likely represented, or at least representing himself or herself, you as the buyer need to make sure that you are well represented too. And it's not just in that walkthrough of the home where we're checking to make sure that everything is done well, but it's in the process along the way. It's someone to be there to make sure that these inspections happen when they're supposed to happen, and make sure that you get to the closing table feeling confident about the purchase that you've made. So having someone in your corner is advised. Builders expect it. It's not a surprise to anyone. So take your real estate agent with you when you meet with your builder to make sure that you have some representation along the way. If you have questions about new construction, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. And if you like this content and content like this, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.